I decided that the West was not for me. I'm not gonna run the rat race. Don't want to live in a heartless society where people don't really know each other. What are we doing here? Why are we running around stressed for a job, to prove ourselves to our boss, to our parents, to make the money, to buy more things, to impress others? But the system is just keeping us stuck. And that is why so many people are depressed or even ADHD, unhappy, all of these symptoms of a dysfunctioning society. I was just coping in Western society, drowning myself in my work and drinking, going out to relieve myself the moments I was free. And that was just my life. But deep down, I was really depressed and really unhappy with it. All of our desires are simple illusions. They don't lead to anything. They don't lead to fulfillment. Nothing on the outside can make us feel anything that we don't feel within. Once you can start to see the things around you with as much love as yourself or people you care about, that's really when you start to follow your purpose, your dharma of why you came here. I don't think I've ever made any chilled out videos where I'm just chatting and maybe more being myself instead of a teacher or explaining things. So let's give this a go. Today I want to talk about why I moved to India, or why I left the Western society behind, Netherlands, UK, London, Cambridge, to be in India. It's a very intrinsic and personal thing, and it really doesn't go for everyone, because maybe not everyone is meant to be in India, but at the same time, maybe this story can inspire you to kind of take whichever leap you're considering in your life, right? And it can give you some inspiration to do so. For me, something in Western society just really wasn't working, and I couldn't put my finger on it, right? And it starts with the fact that the Western society is such a consumerist, capitalist, overly materialistic oriented world. And I was a part of it. I was in that same trap. I used to care about designer clothes. I used to care about, money. And I'm not saying that money is not a means to buy things, or maybe there are things that you need. I'm not saying that money is unnecessary, but just the attachment to it, right? Then there is this great energy around needing to achieve, getting the best job, getting the best degree, running in this rat race. And academically, I've went to the very end of it. I've done university, bachelor, master's, PhD, and I finished it. I did finish it. But at the same time, I was looking at the working life that was supposed to be ahead of me after that. And this is not particularly to the West. Even in India, this is the case. This is just the world that we live in. And I was just like, I will never work in an office. I will just not do it. I will not fall into the trap of thinking that that is the purpose of my life, or that is how I'm going to spend away my time. And already I've wasted, already I've invested so much time in achieving and getting the PhD and doing all of that for me it was just enough. I was like, this is the limit for me. I will not go any further into a path where I feel like I need to prove myself constantly. Is that really what life is about? Proving yourself constantly, proving yourself to your academic supervisor, proving yourself to your boss, proving yourself to your parents, proving yourself. For who, right? To make ourselves feel good eventually, but it doesn't really work, because even if you get that degree, even if you get that whatever you thought you wanted, it just never leads to any type of lasting happiness. In fact, it just makes you want more and more and more. And that is really the key point here, isn't it? We are so stuck in the more cycle. with money, with work, even with love, with children, with family. It is always more, 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 never enough. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And that is all very normal to us humans. It's our human nature to desire things, but it's really an endless story if we never wake up to the fact that all of our desires are simple illusions. They don't lead to anything. They don't lead to fulfillment. They don't lead to the point of, oh my God, now I'm happy. It never does. It only leads to more desire. And I started this whole YouTube thing with manifesting and getting your desires. And I'm sure a lot of people still want to talk about it. But to be honest, I don't manifest things for my life anymore. How selfish is it to just sit there and demand from the universe, this is how my life is supposed to go. This is what I want. This is what needs to happen. I need to be in control. Calm down. You're being grateful for what you already have. Are you in a war zone right now? No. If you are, then you are living a very extreme, intense reality. And but if you're not, it's like, what are we demanding here? Why are we never satisfied? What is this eternal craving for things outside of ourselves? And I'm going off on a rant now. That's okay. But and I know what it is. It's the illusion that we think that things on the outside can make us feel some type of way. And I've talked about this already a few times. It's not true. Nothing on the outside can make us feel anything that we don't feel within. So as long as we keep stuck in a trap of desiring and getting things, we will never actually get anywhere. With our own happiness, with our own spiritual involvement, and with our own purpose, our dharma, our why we came here. Because it's not to get the next thing. And if you get some things in your life, that is just a blessing that you're able to receive. And it's not so much in your control as you think. And it doesn't mean still that manifesting is real. You can align with the energies of the universe and in that way use your words or your willpower to attract certain things into your life. But this obsessively demanding and controlling is just needy and selfish. And why are you doing it? Maybe because you want to be happy. Well, it's not the way you will be happy. So for me, I realized this, right? Nothing really gives me any fulfillment. Another big thing about the West that is so normalized is the partying, the drinking, the using substances. And that world is just the norm. You work during the week and then on your time off, you go out with your friends or you have a drink with friends. But how unhappy are we? Because the one moment we are free, we still need to escape from ourselves. May it be substances, may it be drinking. We are never with ourselves. We are never content. Or we need a big social life. We need to be with other people. And in that way, distract ourselves from our own misery. We're just surviving, isn't it? We're just getting along. And no one is happy. No one is really happy. Oh yeah, maybe you're in love. Oh yeah, maybe you found your person. Oh yeah, maybe you just got that new job or you made this huge amount of money. But truth is, it has nothing to do with true happiness. Because you know what true happiness is? True happiness is peace, tranquility, silence in that head of yours, And even when you get these big highs or achievements, it's not quiet in your head. Instead, maybe you're already thinking about the next thing. Or maybe you have this great moment and then you feel scared that the moment is not going to last. In that very moment, you're ruining it for yourself, right? Or something irritates you, something snaps your anger. What is supposed to be the happiest day of your life? Let's say you're getting married and your makeup is not right and something is pissing you off. Whatever it is. It's just all signs that below that we are really unhappy only because we are not really at peace with ourselves. And Western society does not allow you to be at peace with yourself. Not only Western, the whole world economy, the matrix and everything. Yes, now I'm getting into what people might call a conspiracy, but even I'm not I don't really read about conspiracies. This is just my own personal take on it. It's meant to drive you away from your heart. It is meant to let you keep on seeking something outside of you, because that's what consumerist society thrives on. The whole economy would collapse if everyone would awaken to the fact that having that next thing is really not going to do anything for you. And of course, you have your primary needs, your food or some clothes. But what is all that rest about? It's just about impressing others. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but let's be honest about it at least. What are we doing? Why do we need that new car? Why do we need that thing? It's just to impress others, because actually we're insecure and we don't feel good about ourselves. So we think that this thing maybe is going to give us that feeling that we're looking for. Unfortunately, it really doesn't. Yeah, I'm sounding very cynical, but it's really the gist of it. So for me, in Western society, people don't even know their neighbors, right? We have no community. There's no family feeling. You see your family once a year, twice a year. Maybe some people have a close relationship with their family, but it's not like you move out when you're 18. You don't live with your parents afterwards. The whole family feeling is like, even though I'm not saying that was especially the case for me, but I'm just talking about the general things that we've normalized in the West and even in cities, even in Asia also, but in the cities. The city life is turning into Western culture. And we've normalized, and what we've normalized mostly is the lack of love. We don't have any love. We don't have any love for our family. We don't have any true love for our earth, the very floor we live on. This can really wind me up. But the very earth we live on, we disrespect the most, right? And it's like, yo, I don't care. Some waste, some plastic, let's kill animals. I don't care. But that's only because you are in the illusion that the world is something outside of you, but it's not. The world is you. And when you're shitting on the earth, you're shitting on yourself. When you're killing animals, you're killing parts of yourself, because we are one in this planet. And that is really actually the core of awakening spirituality, of why we are here. Realizing that we are one. And even Einstein had a quote about this. I don't know the exact words, but it's once you can understand that your compassion goes further than just you and a few close people outside of you, but once you can extend that compassion to everything in the same measure, that's when, you've come to awakening or the realization of what life is truly about. Once you can start to see the things around you with as much love as yourself or people you care about or something you care for, that's really when you start to follow your purpose, your dharma of why you came here. Because truth is, the whole problem of why I guess moved away from the West is the selfishness of things. Everyone is so busy in their own mind. I lived in London, and then you sit there in the tube, everyone in their own world. No one smiles. No one smiles on the tube. You will not see a single person smile. And because we're so unhappy, first of all, but also secondly, because we have no relationship with each other as humans. We live as robots next to each other. Where is the heart? Where is the love? That's that song, right? Where is the love? I love that song, but and I'm not saying India is peachy perfect, because I think especially in cities, it's just a very Western lifestyle. Bombay or Delhi. It's also a very city type of lifestyle. But where I'm staying is a very devotional place. And that is one of the reasons why I came to India. Besides the fact I'm also half Indian, that obviously drew me also. But besides that, the devotion and the purity, the love that can be felt here. And of course, India, compared to the West, is chaotic and not well arranged, and everything is going through each other like cats, dogs, cars. It's not about the organization, but that chaos has its purity on its own, because in the end, no one is arguing. No one is bothered by each other. You know what I mean? So it's so chaotic, yet so harmonious. And that is really maybe the key word, the harmony. The harmony in a place where you live, where people know each other, people are kind to each other, people are so generous to each other. People are devoted, right? They're devoted to a guru, they're devoted to a higher power outside of themselves. That is key to understanding that you, our little mind, our little selfish ego, which we're all acting from, is not the one in control. We can surrender to a higher power and have some reverence, have some humility, have some, respect, I guess, and reverence for the higher powers in this universe, even the earth and nature and everything, which is, I guess, all one. That is the higher power, that is God or the universe or Krishna or whatever you want to call it. The name really doesn't matter. That is just a subjective term. Just like religions, I love this quote that I heard recently. Religions just started with one enlightened person that just was guiding the people the path to the mountain up, the top being enlightenment. And all these different religions are different routes on that mountain, but in the end, the goal is the same. And the goal is, at that purest point of enlightenment, is love. And even, in spiritual places, you have people walking around being so spiritual, but at the same time, I know spirituality better than you, and I need to teach you it. Even, me having a channel like this. One can argue about it, how I have to be honest with myself, how pure it is, or how much even I'm speaking from my ego. I know it better. Even I need to keep myself in track. That's why sometimes I don't know if I want to continue making videos, but we have to be honest with ourselves. How giving are we really? When someone knocks on our door, needs our help, and we just surrender and drop everything that we're doing and we are there to help them. That is spirituality. You know what I mean? It's like just that kindness, that generousness, that pure heart that actually cares for other people, cares for animals, cares for the world, the environment. That is spirituality, dear people. Not all these concepts that we've made up. And it's like you can know so much about, oh my God, there are so many therapists walking around and emotional healing, come to me, do this and that. And it's like, okay, but are you actually a kind, genuine, caring person? And if you are, that makes you 1,000,000 times more spiritual than any person who claims to be into this field of work. If it even could be considered a field, because it's kind of hilarious. It's like, we are spirits. We are spirits in a human form, but we are spirits only. And then we pretend that spirituality is a theme of interest or a religion or something. It's like, humanity isn't a religion, is it? It's just who you are. Spirit is just who you are. There's nothing to know about it. It's just who you are. And at the core of spirituality is just like, how well are you able to love? Not just yourself, not just your loved ones, but everyone that you see around you. How much are you able to look them in the eye and see them as your equal, or want to love them in a way that you would treat a family member? No, not many people can do that, let's be honest. Or care about animals. And if you're still someone that eats meat, I don't want to be that vegetarian person that scolds people, but it's one of the biggest issues that we have right now. 99% of the animals walking this planet right now are stuck, cultivated for our own consumption. The biodiversity is zero. And the amount of resources we waste on it. And just the fact that you can eat a dead animal, how do you expect to feel alive when you're eating something dead? That's my favorite quote, and I'll leave it at that, because otherwise this will get into a personal vegan vegetarian rant, and no one wants to be confronted with these things. Let me eat my meat, I need it. No, you don't. We were never made to be eating meat. Look at our teeth. We are not carnivores. We don't have these long teeth. We don't have the right jaw for eating meat. Nothing about us is carnivore, and not even omnivore. We are meant to be vegetarian, but again, I'll leave the topic because otherwise people will get pissed off. So yeah, to conclude the story of my longest rant that went into 800 different topics, I decided that the West was not for me. I'm not gonna run the rat race. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to live in a godless society. I don't want to live in a heartless society where people don't really know each other. And I'm not saying that everyone is bad there. On the contrary, I think people are inherently all really good, but the system is just keeping us stuck. And that is why so many people are depressed or even ADHD, unhappy, all of these symptoms of a dysfunctioning society. But it's not the people that are dysfunctioning, it is the system and the way we are expected to live. Everyone's just expected to work 80% of their day, and they're doing a job that they don't even love. So 80% of your life, you're doing something you don't love. It shouldn't be the norm. It shouldn't be what is expected of you. And of course, it takes a lot of courage, and not many people have the willpower to remove themselves from it. But if maybe one thing that I'm hoping to do with making this video is giving you this perspective so that maybe you can feel a little bit inspired towards considering these things, you know? What are we doing here? Sometimes I really look around at the world, I'm just like, you know, why are we running around stressed for a job, to prove ourselves to our boss, to our parents, to make the money, to buy more things, to impress others? For what? Impress them for what? For the lack we feel inside. Well, secret revealed here, that lack has to be filled by you only, and it cannot be filled by things on the outside. That is the whole illusion. Was my doggy? My doggy was in the... Let me show my doggy, because he deserves... Show you. You can't see him. Crazy boy. What was I saying? May this inspire you to think a little about these things. And may this be a consult to people that are just feeling very unhappy and they don't know why. Because I didn't know why. I was just coping in Western society, drowning myself in my work, and drinking, going out to relieve myself the moments I was free. And that was just my life. But deep down, I was really depressed and really unhappy with it. And I'm so happy that I made the leap to leave that all behind and not let myself be constrained by what is expected of me. And instead, follow my heart. I know that sounds like so general and poetic, and it's like, what does it mean? But you will learn what it means when you actually spend some time with yourself and get to know your heart, because many people don't know their heart. Even I'm still getting to know my own heart. Dropping your mind into your heart and listening, because we have such a beautiful radar with us that tells us, no, I don't like this, makes me stressed, anxious. I do like this, this makes me open, creative, free, exploring. It's like so simple. And it doesn't mean that sometimes we do things that give a little initial fear, but eventually the passion, the heart that is behind it, like maybe, for example, going to India, of course there is some fear there in the beginning when you've never done it before. But the passion, the heart, the feeling behind it is so much bigger. That is eventually what drives you. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. If you're interested in something like my personal guidance, you should check out my course, which it is a 5-week manifestation course, but it is about much more than just manifesting. It's more self-development, self-help, going into traumas, going into the ego, doing guided meditations on releasing the grip of the ego, releasing trauma, finding pain, and also some lifestyle guidance and journaling and my personal guidance through chat, etc. So check out the link if you want to find out more about that. Then, yeah, if you made it up until here, I really appreciate you. I really want to know what you thought about this video, because normally I'm more teachy vibe. Now I'm just ranting. And what do you think about it?